Good morning, prison mates. I don't have all the answers, but I have a lot of questions. And so, my first question for you this morning is what the hell is happening with Donald Trump's body? I mean, I'm looking at this photo that someone showed. I saw someone put this image up online. So I went back and found the original photograph on Getty Images. So this is not AI. And people are questioning what exactly is that kind of horizontal bulge type thing in under Donald Trump's coat. And this is something that showed up when he was on the tarmac on October 31st. I've gone back over the past few weeks and looked at Getty image photos, and I'm seeing it sometimes repeatedly. Now, you only see this shape when his jacket is closed. So, people who are either fear mongers or trying to give us false hope are suggesting that this might be some kind of medical device. Now, let's be honest, it could be anything. One thing that might be inside his pocket, inside of his right internal breast pocket, it could be just a Trump wallet, right? You can buy one of these on eBay. This is a Donald Trump signature collection. The Donald J. Trump signature collection. Looks pretty vintage to me. Maybe it's something like that. But when you actually look at it and you kind of blow it up here, it looks not exactly wallet shaped, right? And it looks like there might be some lines tugging underneath it, like something that's wrapping around his body. So that is why folks are asking other questions. Now, if it's not a wallet, though, might it be an insulin pump? That's just about the right size. Now, I don't have diabetes, so I have not myself worn an insulin pump. I know people who do, and they can wear them in different places. So this might be a spot that he finds convenient. Others say, I see Teresa saying maybe it's a cell phone, but that's no fun. A wallet, an insulin pump, and a cell phone. Not fun. Because, as you know, it's much more interesting to surmise that Donald Trump could be, what if he is wearing what is known as the life vest? So, okay, what do I mean by the life vest? Well, the life vest is a vest that you wear on your body if you have a very serious heart condition that could lead to sudden cardiac death. Now, I don't mean a heart attack, because I mean something called sudden cardiac death. Now, I'm not a cardiologist, and I did go on Google, but I didn't want to be Dr. Google. So I did consult with a cardiologist to tell me, and I'm going to tell you more about this device in a second, but I consulted with a family member who is a very skilled cardiologist. And I asked him, first I sent him the photo and I said, do you think this looks like Donald is wearing a life vest defibrillator in this photo? And he said, yes, could be. And then he said, real photo, not AI fake. And I showed him the original image on Getty Images, so he knew it wasn't a fake. And I also said, I'm allowed to, in case you didn't know, use the image because for my thumbnail and for my show, because it's editorial content. We're not selling magazines here with this on the cover or a book cover and so on. Okay, I'm glad you guys know that. So I asked this family member another question. I said, why would you need a life vest? And here's what he said. Someone who is at risk of sudden death due to a heart rhythm disorder. So then I asked my cardiologist relative, are these devices usually effective? Are they a permanent solution? He replied, effective, but not permanent. So then I asked, so what is the next step? A pacemaker? Or is the next step an ICD, which means an internal cardiac defibrillator? He said ICD. If he is at risk of sudden death, he has a serious underlying heart disease. I have heard rumors of congestive heart failure with his legs and hands swollen. And then I asked to my cardiologist relative, got it. I realize we are speculating on all of this, but helpful to understand the mechanics. Is there a possibility that he could be a candidate for surgery? And here's the bottom line. If he is wearing this vest, if for the purposes we're talking about, no, that surgery is not possible because surgery would be a heart transplant. So he's too old for that. So the only option, if, and we are speculating that he is wearing this, he would need what's called an ICD. Okay, so now I'm sure you want to know more about this. Let me quickly show you before I get to, yes, someone actually did die, Dick Cheney. I know that. We're going to get to Dick Cheney in a moment, but I really want to show you more about the life vest. I am kind of obsessed with the life vest, and so let's look at this. Hold on one second. This is I have my life vest. It's made by Zoll Medical, and it's a really cool thing. I think it's helpful to understand this via video. Okay, so we're not going to watch an entire video for a patient getting a life vest right now, I promise you, but I'm a little bit obsessed with medicine. There are a lot of doctors in my family. My father was a doctor. I'm obsessed with this kind of thing. And so just bear with me because I think it will help you understand why people are a little bit freaking out, wondering what that thing is. Is it a wallet? Is it a cell phone? Is it a insulin pump? Or is it maybe the battery pack associated with this life vest, which measurement-wise is about the exact size of a cell phone, a little thicker, right? I looked at the dimensions because I'm weird that way. So let us go and learn a little bit more about the patient through the patient education video about the life vest. Are you with me? I think you are. Let's go.
Video is intended for patients who have been prescribed the life vest, as well as their families and caregivers. It will provide an overview of the life vest wearable cardioverter defibrillator and includes information about assembling, wearing, and caring for the life vest. Chapter 1. Life Vest Protection from Sudden Cardiac Death. Every year, thousands of people like you are told by their doctor that they are at risk of dying suddenly because of their heart condition. This means that the heart could develop a life-threatening heart rhythm, which if not treated quickly, could lead to death in minutes. This is called sudden cardiac death. This news can be difficult to accept and usually comes at a time when you may already be overwhelmed with talk about lifestyle and dietary changes, important medications, and possible medical procedures. You may be asking, what exactly is sudden cardiac death? What is the life vest and why do I need one? How long will I need the life vest? And how can I get my questions answered? In this video, we will discuss these and other questions you may have about the life vest wearable defibrillator, including how the life vest can protect you from sudden cardiac death. Let's begin by answering the first question. What is sudden cardiac death? This is what a healthy heart looks like as it pumps blood through the body. This rhythmic pumping action is the heartbeat, and this is controlled by the heart's electrical system. In some patients, there is a problem with the heart's electrical system, and the heart suddenly starts beating so fast that it quivers or shakes instead of pumping blood to the body and brain. When this happens, the patient can collapse and die suddenly. This is called sudden cardiac death, also known as SCD. It occurs without warning. Some people confuse sudden cardiac death with a heart attack, but they are not the same. A heart attack is caused by a blockage that stops blood flow and the oxygen supply to part of the heart. Within a short time, these cells start to die, causing damage to the heart. With a heart attack, a person may feel severe chest pain or other symptoms, but usually remains conscious. Sudden cardiac death, however, occurs without warning and without the person feeling any signs that something is about to happen. With sudden cardiac death, you suddenly fall unconscious and will not be able to call for help. It may even happen while you sleep. The Life Vest can protect you from sudden cardiac death by delivering a treatment to restore your heart's normal rhythm. With the Life Vest, the monitoring is constant, the protection is immediate, and you and your loved ones will have the peace of mind that comes from knowing that the Life Vest is ready to help you if you need it. Now, why do you need the Life Vest? Your physician has prescribed the Life Vest.
Okay. I think you get the idea. That woman had a very calm voice. I don't think it was entirely necessary because I don't think speaking louder would put you into cardiac arrest, but I think she's talking calmly to ease your anxiety if this is something you have to wear. Oh, someone says it was an AI lady. Now, the way this works, because I've watched more of the video, the idea is if you are wearing this, the battery pack, let me just put this back up. The battery pack is on there. You've got to change the battery, I think, every day or twice a day. It's a frequent battery change, and you have a rechargeable battery. The idea is you can see those electrodes on there. The idea is it's that the vest monitors your heart rate, and if it notices that something is out of sync in whatever way that is a problem, it will vibrate or send an alert so that you, as the person wearing this, can go press. Sorry, let me say this. If it senses something abnormal, the default is, unless you stop it by pressing stop on your battery pack, it is going to administer a shock to you. That shock will, electric shock, that shock will be painful if you are awake. If you are actually unconscious, you will feel no pain. So the idea is if you are standing up and you feel you feel a notice or a ding or a vibration from your monitor and you feel it, you immediately press your battery pack, you press stop so it won't shock you. If you have, however, collapsed and are laying on the floor, it will administer a shock. It will administer up to 5 of them to help your heart get started. That's what I know. Now, what I also know is I have no flippin' idea what this is in his pocket. Could be anything. But I sure have had fun learning about this because, first of all, public service message. This might be something in your future, in your past, or whatever, and it's good to know this. Now, speaking of health issues, yes, you have heard Dick Cheney, former vice president to George W. Bush, has died. I'm sure you're going to be hearing a lot about his life. And all I have to say about that is I have been waiting around 10 years to share this with you or the world. This was a correction in the New York Times, which people laughed at the time. And here was the most epic correction. Here I shall read it. A correction was made on September 9th, 2014. An earlier version of a summary with this article misstated the former title of Dick Cheney. He was vice president, not president. Just think it's funny. I guess what I will say about Dick Cheney is he did a lot of awful things that led to more chaos, danger in the Middle East, scapegoated Iraq in connection with the 9/11 attack, which came from the Saudis. And he seemed like a pretty awful guy toward the end of his life. Oh, he was awful. Also, I think not great with his lesbian daughter. I think eventually he came to hate or to speak out. I mean, I know he came to speak out against Donald Trump. Too little, too late. That's what I have to say about him. Now, I got some more things to talk with you about. Today is election day. Get the F out and vote. Guess what? Even if you don't get to vote for Zohran Mamdani, you should still vote in your own election. which brings me to last night. This is kind of fabulous. Mamdani was on air with Ari Melber. And I want to share this with you because I've often shared commercials. And the trouble with sharing commercials is those are canned, right? You can get anyone to direct you in a commercial and edit it and make it look good, right? But this is Mamdani live, no script, on the fly, speaking with both joy, humor, or triple, make it triple, joy, humor, and intelligence. Or I should say wit, joy, humor, and wit. Okay, let's play this. This makes me super happy.
Carville was here.
Okay.
And he's been a little bit more of, I think he would call himself a centrist.
Okay.
He said Zohran Mamdani is more on message than any candidate he's ever worked with. And he said, hands down, that's a positive trait.
Very kind of him.
So here's the test.
Oh, God.
How quickly can you go from this topic back to affordability?
Okay.
Halloween.
Here's the thing. You're seeing candy prices shoot up across New York City. And it's part of the fact that we're the most expensive city in the United States of America. We got to take a look at that.
The movie Godfather.
You know, there are too many people who think that the only way they could afford to live in New York City is if their father already lived here. And the fact of the matter is you should be able to afford your own apartment and not just have to pray to God to get there.
Incredible.
Right?
You got there.
Nice work. Not bad.
Lightning round is in a word or a sentence. But it's your mic. If you go longer, you go longer.
Okay,
You're a
here we
candidate.
go.
In a word or a sentence, I am a democratic socialist because
I believe in the dignity of all people.
I am the Democratic nominee for New York because
I beat Andrew Cuomo by 13 points.
a reason conservatives are welcome in your Democratic Party is
They also have to pay rent.
something Democrats are right about.
That we have to take on an authoritarian administration in Washington, D.C.
Something Democrats have gotten wrong.
We need to bring back working people as the focus of our party.
All right, New York, shouldn't be hard for you. My bodega order is
Egg and cheese on a roll with jalapenos.
bagels or bialys.
Bagels.
Sure.
Come on. How would you?
I mean,
What are you doing?
my favorite subway line is
For nostalgia, the 9 train.
okay. And right now,
The N train.
okay.
Hashtag never. Our train, hashtag rarely.
You can call yourself a real New Yorker when
You know what a bodega is.
your favorite cannabis shop. Just ask.
I would have to frequent them more often to have a favorite.
Okay, there we go. And a couple big picture ones.
Okay.
The biggest challenge facing America is,
A belief that politics could be more than this.
and facing New York,
That we could actually have a city that New Yorkers could afford.
the biggest challenge facing the Republican Party,
That their agenda is one that is deeply unpopular with Americans.
and the Democratic Party.
That we are missing an affirmative message in a moment when New Yorkers are crying out for it.
Final two. If I lose, it's because.
I didn't come on this show earlier.
If I win, it's because.
I came here with a few days left before Election Day.
Zohran Mamdani, you are very busy right now. Thank you for coming through.
Thank you, brother.
Appreciate it.
Man, he's skilled. He is kind. He's got great ideas. Let's just see where we will go after tonight's election. Now, speaking, my friends, of the Democratic Party, and if we take over, this is kind of incredible, but Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, who's kept the House shut down now for like 104 days, is it? I don't even know anymore. They've only worked like 93 days in that past time frame. Mike Johnson actually said something that sounds great to me, guys. Like, listen with an open mind. He was asked at a press conference what he thinks about nuking the filibuster. In other words, you may know that years ago, the Republicans already removed the requirement that you need 60 votes in the Senate to get a Supreme Court nominee through. They did that. But at the time right now, for most legislation, I say most, you still need the 60 votes in the Senate. Now, of course, Donald Trump keeps putting out true social posts and is demanding the end of the filibuster because he wants to get the continuing resolution through, which would be able to fund his budget and open the government. This is something the Republicans could do at any time. So every minute they are blaming Democrats for the shutdown, they are lying. So finally, the Speaker of the House was asked to weigh in on this. Now, remember, this happens over in the other chamber, but he was still asked to weigh in on this. And what he said about the result if the Republicans remove the filibuster for legislation, and if that removal endures, what would come of it when the Democrats are in power? This is music to my ears. Let me play it.
What would the Democrats do if they had no filibuster impediment, no speed bump at all? They've already told us. They would pack the Supreme Court. You'd go from 9 to 13 or 15 or 17 or however many liberals they can pack on the court. You would have D.C. and Puerto Rico be made into states, which would give 4 additional Democrat senators there in the count and make us a permanent minority. I guess that would be their calculation. You'd see massive restriction of the Second Amendment rights. You'd see them federalize elections so they could take over and manipulate things in the red states. I mean, there's a lot of abuses that could come.
Other than that. So other than the federal takeover of elections, I'm loving it. Expand the court to 13 seats to match the fact that there are 13 federal appellate districts. I mean, I love all these ideas, having some, not restrictions, but sensible regulations on the Second Amendment, which is built into what the Supreme Court has already said, but like pass the legislation. It wouldn't be a restriction. It would be in line with the Second Amendment. So gun rights. I mean, I love these ideas. Don't you love them? Okay. That's why Democrats are sitting here waiting for the Senate to give in to Donald Trump. But the thing is, even though we believe that everyone is giving in to Donald Trump, we just saw a crack in his armor yesterday. From all places that you would never guess. Yes, wine box lady Jeanine Pirro. She is now a U.S. attorney, as you may know, and she is very upset about the firing of yet more assistant U.S. attorneys, but yet more people, more prosecutors. So let me share this with you. This is Glenn Thrush of the New York Times. Someone had put this is up. This is a quote from Twitter. He says, news, Jeanine Pirro has interceded to stop, it's not the prosecutors, it's FBI agents. Jeanine Pirro has interceded to stop Kash Patel's firing of 4 veteran FBI agents targeted for their work on January 6th cases, according to sources. Firing the agents would hamper work on ongoing cases, she argued. So she's a prosecutor. She needs these FBI agents who are working on cases and doesn't want them fired. That is a crack. And, I hope soon gives in to Donald Trump and gets rid of the filibuster. I hope the Democrats stand firm because at this point, the Republicans are not going to negotiate on raising the subsidies for your health insurance. They're not going to do that, they said, until the government is open. If the Democrats hang tight, I think the Republicans are going to have to nuke the filibuster before Thanksgiving because it will be a shit show flying. I have to fly tomorrow, and I'm going a day early to where I'm going because I'm afraid of delays and not getting to the place I need to be for an event on time. I say event, I mean a panel, right? We've talked about that. Okay. Now, I got some more stuff before I get to Sam Bankman-Fried. Okay. You know how Donald Trump, when he was asked by Norah O'Donnell for 60 Minutes what he thought or why he pardoned CZ, the head of Binance, given his pleading guilty on money laundering charges, including helping hide funds for terrorist organizations. And Donald Trump was like, if you can believe it, I know nothing about it. She had reminded him how a payment by UAE, essentially a payment for UAE to, let me say it differently, that at this moment, Binance holds $2 billion worth of Trump's coins through World Liberty Financial, but he still acts like he has no idea, right? So let's look. His go-to, I know nothing about that. This wasn't the first time he said it. It's just where he goes when he's asked something he wants to deny. Let's play it. This was CNN put this up.
You pardoned the founder of Binance. Can you explain why you chose to pardon him? And did it have anything to do with his involvement in your family's?
Which one? Who is that?
The founder of Binance. He has an involvement in your own family's crypto business.
The recent one, yes. I believe we're talking about the same person because I do pardon a lot of people. I don't know. He was recommended by a lot of people. A lot of people say that, are you talking about the crypto person? A lot of people say that he wasn't guilty of anything.
Why did you pardon him?
Okay, are you ready? I don't know who he is. I know he got a 4-month sentence or something like that, and I heard it was a Biden witch hunt. Well, here's the thing. I know nothing about it because I'm too busy doing the other.
But he got a pardon.
But he got a pardon. No, I can only tell you this. My sons are into it. I'm glad they are.
You see? First, it was Caitlin Collins. That's her voice from CNN. Doesn't know anything about it. It was a witch hunt. He didn't do anything wrong. Then why did he plead guilty? And then you get Norah O'Donnell, same thing, same bullshit, right? Okay, now, speaking of pardoning crypto billionaires, Sam Bankman-Fried today, this morning, after the show, will be having his lawyers present his appellate argument before the Second Circuit Court of Appeals. And let's just talk about who he is and what he's looking for. Now, you might remember this was him with his kind of wild hair, but a nice suit on for his trial in the Southern District of New York before a jury, but presided over by Judge Lewis Kaplan. And I've got another photo of him recently from federal prison because he appeared this spring on Tucker Carlson's show. There he is. And where is he right now? I checked on Sunday to see where he was in prison using his federal prison locator number. And he is at FCI, Federal Correctional Institution, Terminal Island, with a release date of October 15th, 2044. According to the facility's website, this is a low security federal corrections facility. It's for male offenders and it houses around 953 inmates. Okay, you might be wondering what exactly, let me just put this back up. What exactly, let's put a nicer picture of him up, because this is how he would present himself in court. I'm not sure if he's going to be there today, if he's making the trip to be present, if it's just his lawyers who will be at the argument. Remember, it's an argument on legal issues. No evidence is presented. Okay, so what does Sam Bankman-Fried want? Okay, here's what he wants. He wants the Second Circuit to throw out his conviction, right? And he wants a new trial with a different judge. He wants it not to go back to Lewis Kaplan. Great. What else does he want? He wants his, and I put in quotes, $11 billion back. He was forced to forfeit $11 billion, give or take $20 million, in connection with this being convicted. Okay. However, what you should know is he does not, in this appeal, challenge the length of his sentence, the 25-year sentence. Okay, so let me back out of here. What is the legal basis for his appeal? So it's based on basically what I would say 4 different contentions. First, he's arguing, and I'm going to speak in lay terms. The first thing he's basically arguing is that Judge Kaplan should have excluded some of the prosecution's evidence. Now, the way this is written in the court documents, I always say the court did this or the court did that. the court is the judge. So I like to speak about people. So first, he's saying that Judge Kaplan should have excluded some of the prosecution's evidence. He is also arguing that Kaplan should have let the jury hear some evidence that he believes could have helped his defense. And one example is that he wanted to include evidence concerning his relying on the advice of counsel. That's one example. The third thing he's arguing is that Judge Kaplan's instructions to the jury, this happens right before deliberations, that the instructions about the mental state, the corrupt state of mind that the prosecution had to prove that he had were erroneous. And he's basically saying that the language or the way that Judge Kaplan explained this lowered the burden of proof for the prosecution. And finally, he is arguing that Kaplan refused to order discovery, meaning that refused to give Sam's lawyers information from FTX, the firm he bankrupted, and from the lawyers representing FTX in the bankruptcy. And he believes that the firm that he used to run, that FTX, now managed by the law firm Sullivan and Cromwell, became an arm of the prosecution, that Sullivan and Cromwell only handed over information to the government that was helpful, that they wanted the government to see, and not information that could have been helpful to Sam himself. So those are the four arguments for which he's saying he deserves a new trial. Now, the last thing they say at the end in the conclusion, his lawyers in the brief, is for the foregoing reasons, the judgment should be vacated, meaning throw out his conviction, and the case remanded to another judge for a new trial, sent down to another judge for a new trial. And then he says, or at minimum, he wants an evidentiary hearing on whether the debtors, meaning FTX and the other related companies involved in the bankruptcy, whether FTX and Sullivan and Cromwell were an arm of the prosecution team. That is what's going to go on today. I'm really excited to hear how the panel of judges, there'll be 3 of them, these appellate court judges, respond to his arguments and to the prosecution. It's sometimes hard to read the tea leaves, but I will be paying attention and reporting back to you. Now, what's interesting to me is the photo that I showed you here. Let me just go back to this. Remember this photo that I showed you from prison? And I said he was interviewed by Tucker Carlson. Of course, Sam Bankman-Fried or his lawyers are seeking a pardon, or at least a commutation of his sentence. Of course. And so it's possible that we see that happen. It's also possible we don't, because as you remember, Sam Bankman-Fried, he himself, and I think FTX, the company, one of the companies he ran, gave a lot of money to Democratic causes and candidates. And so it's a possibility that there could be a grudge involved still with this. But I'm keeping my eyes and ears open for the possibility of a pardon. And no doubt, so is Sam Bankman-Fried. Now, I'm going to wrap the show a little early so I can get ready for oral argument and so I can vote. Please vote today. Okay, and so with this, let's play some Crazy Town. So, my friends, no. Despite what Susan Collins said years ago, Donald Trump has not learned his lesson and will never. Because, well, the lesson he's learned is he thinks he can get away with anything he wants. He has no shame. And so what I want to share with you is a video clip that I just saw from the party that I talked about this at Mar-a-Lago, right? You've heard about this over at Mar-a-Lago when they had this big Great Gatsby themed party about the Roaring 20s, right before the, right in the middle of cutting off SNAP benefits for, tens of millions of Americans. And to add insult to injury, it appears that Donald Trump, for Mar-a-Lago, which he runs, hired exotic dancers to, in semi-nude attire, perform outside at this party. This is someone who, and by the way, you want to be an exotic dancer, great, that's fine. But the proximity in the association of exotic dancing with trafficking is very close. And the idea that he would do this as a president of the United States, who is right now having the House of Representatives shut down because he doesn't want to reveal the full Epstein file, which includes details about sex trafficking and rape of girls as well as young women. Why is he doing that? Because he just doesn't care. And no one has any sense around him at all and can tell him no. So let me share that with you before we say goodbye. So I'm turning off the music. This is what they're doing around the pool. And, I don't feel great about this person. And neither do most Americans. The polls are coming out that he is deeply unpopular. We will know more tonight after the voting, the proposition out in California, the governor's race in New Jersey, the mayoral race in New York, and so many more places. These are not a referendum on Donald Trump or the Republicans. These are expressions of our values and what we want moving forward. At some point, we just need to see Donald Trump as irrelevant, dangerous, awful, disgusting person, but he is merely the face of the entire Republican Party, except for someone like Tom Massey, a few of these folks. And we need to reject all of them. It is crazy town to do otherwise. See you in the morning.
Hello, prison mates. It's the Gen Taub Show, where welcome everyone. Let's learn about what is happening in politics yesterday and today. There was hope, and we are together in this democracy we work for. And again, welcome to the Gen Taub Show.